Encounter Alien. The mystery begins. The small town of Red Rock Ridge, nestled in the heart of the American Midwest, had always been a quiet, unremarkable place. Its residents led simple lives, untouched by the hustle and bustle of the outside world. It was a town where everyone knew everyone else, and nothing ever seemed to change. That all changed one cool autumn evening. Claire Thompson, a local journalist for the Red Rock Gazette, was driving home from a late-night meeting at the office. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the landscape. As she drove along the winding country road, something caught her eye. A bright light appeared in the sky, hovering just above the tree line. Claire pulled over to the side of the road, her curiosity piqued. She grabbed her camera from the passenger seat and stepped out of the car. The light was unlike anything she had ever seen, brilliant, almost blinding, and it seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. She began snapping photos, her heart racing with excitement and fear. As she watched, the light suddenly shot upward, disappearing into the night sky at an impossible speed. Claire stood there, stunned and breathless, her mind racing with questions. What had she just witnessed? Was it some kind of experimental aircraft? A meteor? Or could it be something even more extraordinary? The investigation. The next day, Claire couldn't shake the memory of the strange light. She decided to investigate further, hoping to find some logical explanation for what she had seen. She started by interviewing locals, but most people dismissed her story as a figment of her imagination or a trick of the light. However, a few townsfolk shared similar experiences. An elderly farmer named Bill claimed he had seen strange lights in the sky for years but had always kept quiet for fear of being ridiculed. A group of teenagers who had been camping in the nearby woods reported seeing a similar light just a week earlier. Claire's editor, Tom, was skeptical but intrigued. He agreed to let her pursue the story, though he warned her not to get her hopes up. Armed with her camera, notebook, and a healthy dose of determination, Claire set out to uncover the truth. She contacted local authorities, the nearby military base, and even reached out to UFO enthusiasts online. The responses were mixed. The military denied any knowledge of experimental aircraft in the area, and most online forums were filled with wild theories and conspiracy theorists. But amidst the noise, she found a few credible sources, people who had dedicated their lives to studying unexplained phenomena. A stranger in town. A few days later, a stranger arrived in Red Rock Ridge. Dr. Samuel Hastings, a renowned astrophysicist and UFO researcher, had heard about Claire's sighting through the online community and decided to visit the town to investigate further. With his graying hair, sharp eyes, and a calm, methodical demeanor, he was the antithesis of the stereotypical eccentric UFO hunter. Claire met Dr. Hastings at the local diner. Over cups of steaming coffee, they discussed her sighting and the reports from other locals. Dr. Hastings listened intently, asking detailed questions and taking meticulous notes. He explained that he had been tracking similar sightings across the country, all of which seemed to follow a pattern. There are always skeptics, he said, but the consistency of these sightings can't be ignored. There is something out there, something we don't yet understand. They decided to team up, combining Claire's local knowledge and investigative skills with Dr. Hastings' scientific expertise. They planned to conduct a series of nighttime observations, hoping to capture more evidence of the mysterious lights.
A few days later, a stranger arrived in Red Rock Ridge. Dr. Samuel Hastings, a renowned astrophysicist and UFO researcher, had heard about Claire's sighting through the online community and decided to visit the town to investigate further. With his graying hair, sharp eyes, and a calm, methodical demeanor, he was the antithesis of the stereotypical eccentric UFO hunter. Claire met Dr. Hastings at the local diner. Over cups of steaming coffee, they discussed her sighting and the reports from other locals. Dr. Hastings listened intently, asking detailed questions and taking meticulous notes. He explained that he had been tracking similar sightings across the country, all of which seemed to follow a pattern. There are always skeptics, he said, but the consistency of these sightings can't be ignored. There is something out there, something we don't yet understand. They decided to team up, combining Claire's local knowledge and investigative skills with Dr. Hastings' scientific expertise. They planned to conduct a series of nighttime observations, hoping to capture more evidence of the mysterious lights. On a crisp, clear night, Claire and Dr. Hastings set up their equipment on a hill overlooking the town. They had cameras, binoculars, and a telescope, ready to document any unusual activity. Hours passed with no sign of the mysterious light. Claire was beginning to feel discouraged when Dr. Hastings suddenly exclaimed, "Look!" A bright light appeared in the sky, just as Claire had described. It hovered silently, its intensity growing as it moved closer. Claire's heart pounded in her chest as she snapped photos and recorded video. Dr. Hastings observed through the telescope, his face a mask of concentration. Then, without warning, the light descended rapidly, landing in a field not far from where they stood. Claire and Dr. Hastings exchanged a glance, a mixture of fear and exhilaration in their eyes. They grabbed their equipment and hurried toward the landing site. As they approached, they saw a sleek, metallic craft, unlike anything they had ever seen. It was shaped like a disc, with a smooth, reflective surface that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. Claire's hands trembled as she took photos, while Dr. Hastings approached cautiously. The air around the craft was charged with energy, and a low hum filled the silence. Suddenly, a hatch on the side of the craft opened, and a figure emerged. It was humanoid, but clearly not of this world. Its skin was pale and translucent, and its eyes were large and black, devoid of pupils. Claire and Dr. Hastings stood frozen, unsure of what to do. The being raised a hand in a gesture that seemed peaceful, almost friendly. Dr. Hastings took a step forward, his scientific curiosity outweighing his fear. "Hello," he said softly, "we mean you no harm." The being tilted its head, as if trying to understand. It then made a series of sounds, musical tones that seemed to resonate in the air. To Claire and Dr. Hastings' amazement, a small device on the being's wrist began to translate the sounds into English. "We are explorers," the being said. "We come in peace." Claire's mind raced. This was the moment she had dreamed of, the proof that humanity was not alone in the universe. She asked the being about its origins, its purpose, and its technology. The being explained that its species had been observing Earth for centuries, studying its inhabitants and their development. "We seek knowledge and understanding," it said. "We wish to share our discoveries and learn from you." Claire and Dr. Hastings spent hours talking with the extraterrestrial visitor, learning about its advanced technology, culture, and history. The being showed them holographic images of its home planet, a world of breathtaking beauty and advanced civilization. As the night wore on, the being expressed concern about humanity's future. It spoke of the dangers of war, environmental destruction, and technological advancement without ethical considerations. It urged Claire and Dr. Hastings to share their knowledge with the world, to promote peace and cooperation. "We are not so different," it said. "Our species faced many of the same challenges you do now. We overcame them by working together, by valuing knowledge and wisdom above all else." As dawn approached, the being returned to its craft. It thanked Claire and Dr. Hastings for their hospitality and promised to return someday. The hatch closed, and the craft rose silently into the sky, disappearing into the morning light. Claire and Dr. Hastings returned to town, their minds reeling from the night's events. They knew that their story would be met with skepticism, but they were determined to share the truth. They compiled their photos, videos, and notes, preparing a detailed report. In technology, space exploration, and international relations. Humanity had taken significant strides toward a more peaceful and cooperative existence. One clear night, as Claire and Dr. Hastings stood on the same hill where they had first seen the mysterious light, a familiar glow appeared in the sky. The extraterrestrial craft descended once more, and the being emerged, a symbol of hope and friendship. "We have watched your progress," the being said. "You have taken the first steps toward a better future. We are here to continue our journey together, to share knowledge and explore the cosmos as friends." As the world welcomed its visitors from the stars, humanity stood on the brink of a new era, one of exploration, discovery, and unity. The encounter at Red Rock Ridge had shown them that the universe was vast and full of possibilities, and that by working together, they could achieve greatness beyond their wildest dreams.